Hey, what's up, and welcome into Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Look for Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Please like, please share, please subscribe to everything that we do. Check out our merchandise that we have that's available right now. Oh, there's a hoodie. It's still March, it's still spring, so it could be crisp in the area that you're watching and listening to this podcast. Check out the hoodies, check out the t-shirts as well. We've got a lot, including a mug. And we've got so much more. Check out the merchandise is available right now in the link tree of the bio of this podcast. Whether you're listening or watching, check it out. It doesn't cost you anything to just click and see. I'd love for you to represent one of your favorite podcasts, if not your favorite podcast. It's Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. And of course, we're brought to you by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. NHSchicago.org is where you go for Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. And if you're trying to make that move to get your own home, plant roots for you or you and your family, I want you to go through Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, nhschicago.org. Tell them J Hood sent you. They've got great people. They'll tell you about the home buying process, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. Oh, man, they do a great job. So nhschicago.org is the place to go. They also have a lot of events around the Chicagoland area. I'd like for you to be able to go to their website to find out where they can be in your area so you can meet the people of nhschicago.org. We're going to talk some college basketball, but first, just want you to know that we've got a lot of podcasts coming talking about the Chicago Bears in their offseason. Interesting moves that the Bears could be making in the offseason. We'll talk about that. Of course, we got LA versus Space this week. Those two always are getting into it, talking about some of the sports topics, not only in Chicago, but across the country as well. A lot of big opinions on that show, so we'll get a chance to talk to them. Also, Crazy Cousin Wiley's back. You know, the combine's over for the NFL, so we got some thoughts about what the Bears can be doing here in the offseason and a lot of other things. Also, Elimination Chamber, if you're a WWE fan, I got you, because it was Charles Taylor Jr. and I were able to go through Elimination Chamber emanating from the United Center in Chicago. First time that the Elimination Chamber has been in Chicago, but the first time WWE's been at the United Center in 33 years, 34 years, something like that. So we had some wrestling talk with a special Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday. So it's all part of what we do here. We got so much to get after in the month of March. Also, your guys going to St. Louis for Arch Madness. You know, college basketball season, tournament season is right around the corner. And this week I'll be in St. Louis covering the Arch Madness for the UIC Flames, University of Illinois Chicago Flames. They've had a tremendous season. They're so good. They've had a bye in the first round. Used to go in there on the first day late, like the 8:30, 9:30 game. But this time they're not going to play on Thursday. They're going to play on Friday against Murray State. And so the pride of Little Italy, UIC, trying to get through that gauntlet of the Missouri Valley to be able to go in and win the Valley, get to the tournament for the first time since 2004. It's been a long time. So Rob Eson, hats off to him. I know that there's a lot of acclaim for DePaul, but Rob Eson has done a great job as head coach for the UIC Flames in year 2 of the program. So I'll be there and maybe do some podcasting from St. Louis, and also doing baseball at Mizzou the same week, by the way. You'll see it. I'll be at Mizzou doing some college baseball, UIC against Mizzou. It's weird. The basketball team and the baseball team both are going to be in the state of Missouri, and I will be there this week as well. All right, we have a very special guest who's going to join us, Myron Medcalf, who covers college basketball like a blanket for ESPN and ESPN.com, also one of the voices of ESPN Radio. My buddy's going to talk to us about college basketball. Let's get you ready for not just Arch Madness, but March Madness. Some of the favorites who can go far in the tournament. We'll talk to Myron Medcalf about that right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. As promised, talking some college basketball with an award-winning journalist from ESPN.com and ESPN Radio. It's my buddy Myron Medcalf with us here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Sir, as always, I appreciate your time.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time. Any time for you, man. You helped me get my start on a national level, and I'll do anything you ask.
That award, by the way, will be in the mail, Myron. That award. That's it. Just want you to know it's coming.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to ask you something that no one asked you. That's kind of the typical way that we roll when I do talk to you. So here's something that no one has asked you. Myron, in this era of the portal, what is the likelihood that that the committee would consider more mid majors in this tournament. Like having a more than one being selected in the tournament this year.
I mean, the mid majors are in a tough spot. Let's be honest. Like, the system isn't designed for mid majors to succeed because of the changes to the net rankings. Like, teams are rewarded, Power Four teams are rewarded playing other Power Four teams, and then really playing low major teams that they could beat up by 20, 30, 40 points. Like, that's what the system rewards. It's no longer margin of victory, but it is offensive efficiency. And you want to have those big wins, and you want to have good competition, and that puts a lot of mid-majors in a tough spot because the teams at the Power Four level don't want to have one of those losses on their resume, and they know it's possible when you play a Miami or a team that's in the MAC or some of these other really good leagues. So I think those teams this year, and you saw it last year, are probably at one of the biggest disadvantages they've had just because of scheduling and what that has done to kind of limit their potential to get into the field.
So speaking of that, you wrote a piece on ESPN.com regarding Bruce Pearl. For those that are not familiar, Bruce Pearl, who fled his Auburn team at the 11th hour so his son could coach the team. He is now a television analyst. Takes a shot at Miami of Ohio. And so kind of to our conversation here, Bruce Pearl feels like Miami of Ohio would be somewhere in the middle to the bottom tier of some of these Power Four conferences. I don't necessarily agree with that, but when you saw those comments, what was your reaction?
Again, I think it's easy to beat up on Miami right now. Their schedule is ranked 285th nationally on KenPom. If you don't follow the game, you just go, well, they haven't played anyone. Mm-hmm. If you talk to Travis Steele like I have, he'll tell you no one would play them. I mean, Travis Steele told me there were a whole lot of schools who gave him I'll call you back. Let's talk in a few days. And guess what, Hood? They never called back.
Yeah.
So I think that to me is what people don't recognize. I don't know how you punish a Miami of Ohio when teams literally won't play them because of what you're witnessing. They are giving all of those teams that you can put on a resume that would help build a resume every reason to never schedule them again. So I think that to me is the challenge when people talk about, oh, Bruce Pearl says he wouldn't shine in the Big East or they would struggle here. Mm-hmm. We'll never know, right? Because they're not going to get those opportunities. Where we can find out, however, is in the NCAA tournament, where a bunch of MAC schools, just like Miami, have pulled off big-time upsets. It's just odd to me when we go, well, these Power Four teams at the bottom of their leagues, they're better than the Miami of Ohio's. How do you know? Let's match them up. Oakland just took out Kentucky a couple years ago, right? Teams like Mercer have pulled off first-round upsets. All these teams that people are like, well, they're not better than this team. And time again, the tournament shows us that's not true. So I think it's unfair, and I also think it's convenient because of the way the system is set up.
It's so wild. In this era of the portal where there's talent everywhere, big and small schools, right? As someone who's the voice of the UIC Flames, after the Flames had a really good solid season after 1 year of Rob Eson, where he beats Yale at home, wins a number of games, big games in the Valley, wins a number of big games in non-conference. Rob wanted to get some phone calls for year two. No one would return the call. It's just like these teams still scared, man, to be able to have competition. You're not going to get fired if you lose to the UIC Flames or Miami of Ohio. But because ultimately, as you and I both love college basketball, we love the competition in the regular season before we get to the NCAA tournament. But still, some coaches like, nah, can't afford to lose that one. Can't do that.
Well, and there's no incentive to play those teams now. I mean that's the problem. It's like there's no incentive. The schedules are expanding. You have things like the Players Era Festival where you've got big time events in November that just sort of wipe away December for all these teams. They're not going to go from playing in an event where they might face 3, 4, 5 elite teams in November and then schedule more in December. Maybe your Kansas will do that. North Carolina, UConn, some of those schools, but for the most part, they're not going to do it. And that puts those mid-majors in a really tough spot. Who do you play? If you can't get those big-time matchups on your resume, that not only help, your resume if you win, but even just having them on your resume helps your strength of schedule. if they won't play you, well, you end up like in Miami. And the only thing Miami can do is beat everybody in their path. And they have done that for 4 months, which is obviously not easy to do and not easy to pull off. So I don't know how you cannot reward them for the achievement they've had thus far, especially if they end the year unblemished going into the MAC tournament.
Is it just me, or is it just the pageantry of college basketball? These big Monday games, some quality cornerstone Saturday, some Sunday games have just had more pageantry and more intrigue than the college football season. Is it just me, or is college basketball on a different plane?
I mean, the freshmen have helped. I mean, when you have AJ DeBonta and Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer and Darius Acuff Jr. and Kingston Flemings and Cole, I mean, the list goes on and on of all of these important players. Keaton Wagler. So I think you have one of the best freshman classes we've seen. And I think that's built, and it has always built the connection to the NBA in the one and done era. The best years for college basketball in terms of getting casual fans that pay attention all year is when you have 6, 7, 8, 9 players who could be really good players at the next level. So then NBA fans go, well, wait a minute. That dude could be a star on my team next year. So suddenly you're more interested in Braden Berries at Arizona. Suddenly you're more interested in Kingston Flemings at Houston, because that might be your point guard. That might be your starting wing if things work out for you in the lottery. So I think the collection of freshman talent we have, combined with just the overall quality of teams, the offensive production is at historic levels. I think you just see more experienced teams through the portal, and the top of college basketball is very, very good. So this does feel like potentially a special year for the sport.
Yeah, to the point where I don't even feel comfortable asking you Duke or the Field, because there's just so much competition on the top level, Myron. So if I asked you that, isn't there so much, like Duke could be able to have a run, but yet there's going to be some hot shooting team that played at a high level that could probably knock them off. If I said Duke or the Field, would you take the Field?
Probably the Field, only because I think there are just other teams that can contend. But if you gave me like Duke and 5 other teams, I'd probably take those collection of teams. I do think your Duke, I mean, Cam Boozer's special. Cooper Flagg had an amazing season, one of the best I've covered. Cameron Boozer's better in a lot of areas. You have so many high-quality teams. A Houston team that's kind of fallen back a little bit because the field is so strong. Iowa State's taking some losses because the field is so strong. Michigan, I thought they were unbeatable. Then they faced this Duke team. I think what Duke has is the right pieces. And Shire's doing it the way no one else is doing it. He's doing it with young talent. No one else is doing it that way. And I just think you got to give Duke a lot of credit for being able to build teams around true freshmen. Cameron Boozer's 18 years old. People don't know that. Cameron Boozer doesn't turn 19 until July. This is a guy who could easily be a senior in high school right now and probably should be from an age standpoint. So to take guys like that and build winning programs, you got to give John Shire a lot of credit.
Myron, I saw Michigan, Illinois, and you talk about crushing the Orange Crush's soul. I mean, they were hyped, and then all of a sudden they weren't, because Michigan just puts it on you. I mean, this was amazing. I've been watching Michigan all season. It wasn't the 40-point burger they put on Illinois, but the point is that they just with a cut by 1,000, death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah. They just come at you from 3 and going in the inside game and all that. But Michigan, they just look ready all season. That is a special team that they've got going.
No, it is. And it's, it's a team where you go, they don't have any weaknesses. Teams that big shouldn't play as fast as they do. Right. You got Jax Lindeborg, Morris Johnson, Adai guys who were all basically centers, 4s and 5s for their teams last year. When you have that sort of 3-headed monster, if you will, and they can play fast, it's just really hard to deal with them. It's just really hard to physically outplay them. And then if Elliot Cadeau, if you tell me that they're getting good point guard play, they're going to be really, really hard to stop. I mean, it shows you how good Duke is, but I don't know how you prepare for Michigan. You can't simulate that in practice. Your scout team can't pretend to be those 3 big bodies that you have to deal with over the course of 2 halves. So I think Michigan has a really good chance to make another Final Four run this year.
Myron, I don't know about this bracketology or this Joe Lunardi stuff. Where's the Medcalf math? That's what we need, man. You need to have your own
No.
deal. Yes. The Metcalf math. I'm supporting that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write my congressman to get that done. The
No.
Metcalf math, because we need to know, man, when the Big Ten, for you and I as Midwesterners, we need to know Big Ten, how many teams get in the Big Ten for the Metcalf math.
Yeah, those are Joe Lunardi questions, man. I mean, we're going to find out here in the tournament. I will tell you, I don't look at it in terms of bids. I look at it in terms of like who can win championships. I think the Big Ten has real contenders. I mean, Purdue has had a weird season. You know, they don't look like the same team from a year ago in a lot of ways, even though Braden Smith is incredible. I still think that's a team where you're going to have to be pretty good to beat them in March. You know, people are saying, oh, Purdue is slipping. Well, that's relative, because you're still going to have to deal with a point guard who's been to a national championship game and been an All-American. Like, that dude's going to make it hard to win. Illinois and all the pieces they can throw at you. You know, you put Boswell and what he can do defensively, and Keaton Wagler, and how many teams are set up to deal with a team like that. Wisconsin has gone on the road and defeated some of the best teams in the country. They're not going to be intimidated by anything. It's March and it's Izzo. And I always tell people about Michigan State, what people forget about Izzo and his success in the tournament is the first round, you have almost a week to prepare for whoever you are facing. And that's a lot of runway to face a new opponent. You got to deal with Izzo in a 36-hour turnaround. So now it's you and whoever you are as a head coach with your staff and your film, and it's Izzo with his staff and his film trying to figure out how to beat you. And as much as we talk about athletes matching up and intimidation, it happens with coaches too.
Yeah.
So knowing you got to face a guy at that level on that quick of a turnaround, it's no joke. You know, will UCLA find a way to make a run and get in? I'm not sold. I don't know what happened to Donovan Dent. I mean, that's one of the more bizarre cases in college basketball. Mountain West Player of the Year, a guy who was on all the preseason All-America list and just can't shoot. Just can't shoot anymore. So I think it'll be interesting to see not just who gets in from the Big Ten, but who gets in and can actually win. That'll be the bigger question.
Lastly, and I appreciate your time, tell me about the coach of the program that should get more love.
The coach or the pro? I mean, I feel like we're giving a lot of love to the coaches that deserve it. I think Coach Gillespie at Texas Tech. Grant McCasland, I'm sorry. Grant McCasland at Texas Tech. I mean, they're still beating people without JT Toppin. And JT Toppin is like a legit All-American, would have been a first-team All-American on a lot of lists. He's gone, and then they just walked into Iowa State where nobody wins. It's so hard to win. There's a coach who I won't name who's in the Big 12 who told me, he said, whenever the season starts, he looks at the game in Ames that they're playing, and he just marks it as a loss. Because it's like, you're not going to win there. Because it's Hilton Coliseum. It's so hard to win there. And Texas Tech went in there without JT Toppin and just punched him in the face. So, I mean, I think Grant McCasland deserves a lot of credit and what he's just been able to do to get through a Big 12 schedule and to keep your team moving forward like that without its best player. That just says a lot about how good they are.
Well, I'm glad you spent some time, man. But consider that Metcalf math. Consider that because I think that people will be into that. The community would love that. I just talked to community. Community's all for it, so let's consider it.
Yeah, I don't want to live in a bunker for a month, and I love Joe. I'm sure they pay Joe very well, but I got to get out of the bunker in March, man.
Yeah, it's been so much fun, man. Let's connect again, and I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for having me.
Great to catch up with Myron Medcalf from ESPN and ESPN Radio. Make sure that you lock in with Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, nhschicago.org. That's where you go. You're looking to plant roots, new home, Get out of that stuffy loft, out of that apartment. It's time for you to get your own home. Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, nhschicago.org. Learn the process of being able to get a new home by going through the steps that are taught by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. Great people there. Tell them Jay Hood sent you. College basketball is so much fun. As someone who loves basketball, as someone that loves the sport, the NBA can learn a lot from college basketball, can learn a lot about it. You take a look at the majority of these teams, like 99% of these teams, and the starters are available on game day. And we're watching from coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast, tremendous college basketball. And the tournament is going to be so much fun this month, in the month of March. And so, you know, from as much as I love the NBA and some of the things that the NBA brings to the table, the culture of the NBA, college basketball is it. It has been so much fun to watch, and make sure that you keep it locked here Under the Hood with John the Hood. We'll have more guests to talk about the college basketball season. The tournament's going to be happening pretty soon, where we'll see the brackets and see what's going on. So we'll have plenty of coverage of that right here on Under the Hood with John the Hood. As always, appreciate it, and make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and comment to this podcast, you know, Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody.